Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game S. So today we're going to continue the series on the MiSTer FPGA DE10 Nano project. I got a fun video for you guys this evening because on Saturday morning, Jotego and his team released the beta core for Sunset Riders running on Konami's arcade hardware. And this has been one of the most anticipated games from Jotego and his team for a long time, because when I say this is absolutely a Hall of Fame level good arcade game from the 90s, I 100% mean it. Sunset Riders just has absolutely everything you need in an arcade game, and I just recently did a Port Authority episode comparing it to the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version, and the arcade definitely is the best way to play. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we have a Patreon link down below as well. But this is absolutely awesome that Sunset Riders is here in the MiSTer FPGA ecosystem today. It is a beta core. You'll need to be a beta member with the Patreon key, and there are still a few graphical glitches here and there as far as the graphical performance is concerned. But the fun is 100% here, the audio is 100% here, and even the hilarious voice acting is here as well. 3 seconds and I'll be right back.
Marry me with my money.
That's such an iconic line from the game, and it sounds good here coming out of the core. And now we're moving on to the second stage, which is more of a side-scrolling auto-scroller, which a lot of the time reminds me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, because you also get a train level there. It's also made by Konami, and it also runs on the same hardware as Sunset Riders. So if you're wondering what game you might see next from Jotego and his team, I would bet even money that it might be Turtles in Time, and I know that's another one that people are definitely waiting for. And it's just down to the fact that Konami absolutely made hit after hit in the 2D era of arcades. And as we play the game, the best part here is, even though there is a little bit of sprite weirdness here and there, you'll see those pixels persist in front of the horse and in front of the screen, it is still the exact same game that is as much fun as you remember it. And you will see here that some of the sprites have flickering lines through them, so there definitely is still work to be done on the core. That's in no way, shape, or form a complaint. It is fun that we get these beta cores, and it is fun to check out the work in progress, but I'm assuming this is going to take another month or two until it is performing up to the same one-to-one standard as arcade boards. But this is what I really love about MiSTer and FPGA development in general, is we do get a chance to play these games early and kind of see how they evolve over time. And again, all of the action, all of the fun in the game is 100% translated over, so even if you see a graphical glitch here and there every once in a while, it does not affect the gameplay at all, and that's all that we really care about. Even the special stage looks great here, although I will say it's one of the hardest special stages Konami ever made. You have to shoot these bad guys as they pop up, and you only have an 8-way arcade stick and one button to be able to do it. It is not an easy task, but as far as how it translates over to an FPGA core, it looks good to me. I don't really see any issues in the visuals whatsoever. And as we move on, Sunset Riders just has so much charm and interest in the graphics. There's so many little details all over the screen to check out, and all of that is here in the core. And again, this is just one of those games that I fondly remember from back in the day, and I always at least play it once a year. And this is definitely something that's great to have as an FPGA core, especially when it becomes one-to-one with the real arcade hardware, because this game being so popular definitely holds its value. If you want to get an arcade board for the game, it is not going to be cheap. We're not talking into the 4 digits, but we're talking into the high 3 digits, and having an FPGA core to solve that problem for most people is going to be awesome. As we come into the next boss battle here, outside of those few stray pixels that are sitting on the screen, nothing really bothers me about this image. I can't notice anything else that seems to be a glaring bug, and I'll show you one in just a moment where you'll see a lot more of an issue on screen. But this is just so fun to have on MiSTer FPGA, and of course it's on Analog Pocket as well, and I'll probably talk about it there in a week or two in a news episode. But this board, and it doesn't have a name, which is mostly classified as the TMNT2 board, has so many awesome games, and I can't wait to get more on MiSTer. And as far as the soundtrack is concerned, it's both amazing and sounds great here. Listen for 45 seconds, I'll be right back with more gameplay. sounds coming across well there, and I'm sure you noticed within the actual end stage of that saloon fight, all of the women dancing on stage, their feather fans just do not come across in sprite form. That's definitely an area to check out in the next updated core when it does come out to see how the bug fixing is going. And I absolutely love this right here. You know, I always say in a beat 'em up game you have to have an elevator stage, and Konami would even put an elevator stage in a run and gun as well, as we take this rope bridge kind of basin down to the next boss fight. And the best part about Sunset Riders is it is just one of the best games of all time in my opinion. So many people played this on Super Nintendo when it got ported home, and it is a very fondly remembered game. So leave me a comment down below and tell me the first time you played Sunset Riders, whether it was in the arcades or at home. I remember my local arcade growing up, the Dream Machine had a cabinet for this. Absolutely fell in love when it got ported home. It was one of those games I had to pick up, and I've been playing it ever since. And again, on the FPGA side of things, the controls, the responsiveness, they are 100% there, because this is not an easy game. Now be aware, at the time of recording, the only version available as far as MiSTer FPGA is concerned is going to be the 4-player ROM, which means you can have 4 players on the screen at once, but your character choice is dictated by what controller you have set up. If you have the first player controller set up, you're going to get Steve, and you have to go from there. But I'm sure, just like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, some alternate ROMs will become available and coded into the core, so you can have the 2-player ROM where you get to actually select your game, because Konami shipped all of these 4-player games also as 2-player cabinets with a little bit of a reduced cost and the ability to actually choose who you want to play as. But of course, the 4-player version is going to be the most fun if you can get 3 friends around your MiSTer FPGA and have a game night. And you will see there at the bottom left hand corner of the screen again, those pixels are persisting a little more in this level, but it might just be because you're actually able to see them better against the blue water and those yellow pixels. But that's really just the only graphical bug I can find, those pixels and a few little sprite issues. I would say this core feels like 90% complete at this point in time, probably closer to 95% on the sound side. But the best part is you can see the credit scroll, you can play the game, you'll have no issues sitting down and enjoying it. And again, as we go to the next boss fight here, if you haven't played this game in a while, or if you haven't played it before whatsoever, this is 90s era arcade hard. It's going to pull no punches, and honestly, you can credit feed it to see the end. What I love to do is just allow myself 4 credits when I'm playing a game, and if I can't beat it from there, I start over and try again. A big thanks to Andy D for helping with the footage capture, as well as actually in Indiana over the weekend watching Twisters at a drive-in about 4 hours from Chicago for fun with friends, so he was able to help me out with some of this footage here. But I'm going to give you one more taste of the soundtrack, both so you can hear how incredible the music is in Sunset Riders, as well as hear how good it's coming across in the FPGA core, and I'll come back and show you how the game ends and prove to you that you can beat it. But enjoy. It's just such an iconic soundtrack, and honestly, I would say that I don't really hear anything within the music on the game or the sound effects that makes me think it's not sounding correctly. But if you hear anything that you don't like, leave me a comment down below, because I always depend on you guys to be able to figure out exactly what I'm trying to listen to, because you have a lot more ears and a lot more eyes than I do. But as we walk up into the last boss fight here, again, this game is just a 10 out of 10, and it's one of those games that for years now people have been mentioning, when are we going to get an FPGA core for it? And the good news is, as of 2 days ago, that day has come. It isn't beta, but Sunset Riders is here, and it really makes me think that we're going to be seeing Turtles in Time relatively soon as well. But just so you guys know, if you look at an arcade board, especially from the 90s, and there's a listing of all the games that run on it, do be aware that that hardware can have variants, and you do need to basically work on these like they're one-off boards. Sure, you can share some code between both of them, but on the Konami side of things, especially in Sega as well, there could be variables in the hardware even if it's classified as the same board. So just because one game works doesn't mean the next game is going to work in 24 hours. It might be a month or two until we see another game like Turtles in Time on the board. But the best part is, if you want to play Sunset Riders today, you can play it from start to finish with 3 of your friends. You can watch the credits scroll, you can play the game like you would in the arcade. The only thing you need to deal with is a couple sprite corruption issues here and there. But short of that, we are done. Definitely go check this one out. Make sure you run update all, and it should come down totally fine. And if you've already played it, tell me what you think in the comments below. But we're going to ride off into the sunset, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.